All right, and we are back, and ladies and gentlemen, I can't even believe I'm getting ready to say this right now. It is the end of 2025, and what a year it's been. But I'll get into all that at the end of the podcast. But, ladies and gentlemen, again, it's an absolute honor to sit down with my friend in the legend of the sport too, as well. No matter what he says, Mr. Danny Hall, welcome back.
Thanks, brother. Thanks a lot.
Oh,
First
listen,
of all, dude, first thing I want to say to you is I want to thank you personally for what you're doing for all of us on the podcast. And I've watched many of your legend guests interviews, and they're awesome.
thank you.
But nobody really cared about us as mechanics, as crew chiefs, and the sacrifices that we made until you came along. So I just want to give a mega shout out to you. This
Dude,
is
listen,
awesome.
the honor's absolutely all mine, and this is part of me giving back to the sport too, because being a fan and growing up in it and being around it my whole life, I always obviously wondered about the riders side and their stories, but you and everybody else in the paddock and how they got there and their journeys too as well. And me falling into the whole podcast thing and end up taking it over, now I'm able to do that. So yeah, it's an
Very
absolute
cool.
honor. It is, it really is. It's something again that I never thought I'd be doing. One, and then once I started doing it, all the it's people I could actually listen to me, right, and all that, and it's just been. I don't want to get emotional right now, but dude, what a journey, dude! What an honor, right? So
Yeah,
let's go, Danny. But listen, I had a lot of people hit me up from the podcast me and you sat down of, you
that's
know,
awesome.
dude. They were like, dude, we love the podcast with you and Danny. Man, those stories are so great. We've never heard, obviously, hardly none of those stories. So I just want to pick it up where me and you left off last time. I know we kind of talked a little bit about everything real quick because I know there was a lot you had to say. But man, listen, I don't even know where to begin. There's so much I want to ask you right now. Uh, but let's start with this one. I want to start with a question that me and you, a little topic we was talking about earlier before we started the podcast. About team transitions. When you leave one team, you've been with them for 2, 3 seasons. Obviously, when you're with the team, man, you fall in love with the people. They're family to you, and then a beautiful girl comes along and they offer you a better deal, and you go across the street.
Yeah. I had a team owner tell me once, he goes, Danny, you're replaceable. And I looked right at him, the principal owner, I go, let me tell you something. So are you. So because we're paid to win and we don't get in fist fights, but there's arguments. I mean, there's stuff behind the scenes and everybody knows. I mean, if it's not working out, you're getting mad. But I changed teams. I wanted to make some corrections. So 88, 89, Fred Merkel won. Then we won with Baldessari Monti in 90. So I'm off a couple of years. 91, we won with Merkel Italian. I went to 92, 93, Pirovano won the Italian. 94, we won with Scott Russell Daytona, finished second in the world. 95, Scott Russell won. He went off to 500 GP. 96, we were second in Daytona, AMA Superbike champions with Doug Chandler. 97, second Daytona AMA Superbike champions with Doug Chandler. 98, I went back to World and raced with Yamaha with Vittoriano Goreski on the 600. We finished second. Pirovano won the championship that year. We lost to him. Then Nicky was 99, 600 AMA champ. Curtis won the Formula Extreme in 99. 2000, Curtis won the Daytona 600, and he won the 600cc championship. And then he won Formula Extreme. '01, I went to Kawasaki. We won with Eric Bostrom on the 600 to finish second to Matt Mladen. Nick won the Daytona 200 in '02, won the championship. And then in '04, I finished with Asa Gobert and won the 1000cc Superstock Championship. So that relates to what your question is of moving through these teams. And we're looking for opportunity. You're the mechanic. Can you make a crew chief? Can you get into telemetry? Can you do suspension? Things just moved along and the money kept coming. And riders would want us to change teams with them. Plus, you could live in different countries. So there was a lot. I never had any issues with anybody because you know what happens, Chris, is sometimes you end up back with them. And Al Luddington was one of them, and Joey Lombardo. And we ended up being teammates, and we actually were very successful together. But we were like this out there. When we go and race against Miguel, Luddington would come over and take off my tire warmers and look at the tires we're running. I go, Al, you know we're running softs. We're running 884 fronts and an 881 rear. Miguel's running on bowling balls because your setup is so okay. So Miguel would get away at the beginning of the race, right? He'd start pulling, and then here comes halfway, and here comes Doug. And Doug got by him, and it was the same thing over and over. But that was out there. They were like, what tires are you running? Well, just ask me. You don't have to take my tire warmers off. So that's the type of stuff that went on out there. But I enjoyed moving, I really did. And working with different countries and languages and it was just awesome. I would look at how many people that I jumped around on and just was really successful. Not just me, but the people that were around me. Those guys made me successful. I was a part of that puzzle. When we looked for guys, Chris, I want to know what you can do best. I don't care what can you do best, because we need the best guy to fill this position. And that's what you're going to get hired for. If you can do other things, that's fine. But I need this spot filled. And that's how we hired guys. That's how I was hired. You go in and sit with these engineers and the principal owners and the road racing manager and everybody, and they'd interview you. I remember we won 600cc Daytona and then the championship, and I went to Honda. They wanted to bring me over with Curtis. So I sat down with Ray Plum, what was his name? I forget all their names. And they go, what can you do? And I go, well, I build suspensions. And I know it pretty well. And they go, well, we have show. I go, well, we're running all lanes. So that's what we're staying with. And we had gotten into a conversation. I go, well, I beat you guys at Daytona. We cheated. And they all looked at me, and everyone's like, huh? I go, come on, man, you guys cheat all the time. Don't tell me that you didn't cheat. I cheated every race, but different. Never do the same thing twice. But they all did. Vince Fasola and what's your buddy's name from Georgia, the big guy we talked about, Aaron Yates. They cheated all the time. Those guys, we couldn't figure out what they're doing. But I had a speed shifter on my 600 that Curtis, all he had to do was just keep it open and just pop. We had the European flasher on this side, and that was his shifter. And the guys from Kawasaki, the next year, he came up to me and he goes, did you have a speed shifter on that bike? And I go, yeah, we did. He goes, I knew it, because he watched the tapes and he never did this. He just kept it pinned, and he's over here going, bah, bah, bah.
Love it.
But that's the beauty of jumping teams, getting all these. I always took the best thing, what you were good at. I took it and I built it into myself. So as a mechanic myself personally, there's got to be 400 or 500 people in this room. It's not just me. And that's the beauty of moving around and working with other people, because there's a lot of smart guys out there. And if you keep your mouth shut and your ears open, and they have a secret, they got to do it in front of you. You just got to be ready for it. That's my approach.
I love it. And you take that, you add that to your arsenal, and then when you move, you have it, right?
And when you have all that information and all that experience, man, you can go places because you've done so many things with all these people. I cut all of Honda's heads. All the engine builders would bring their heads to me, and I'd cut all their heads so they could keep doing what they're doing. And I'd have it all set up, and I put my fly cutter on there, and I'd start cutting, and they'd come by and go, oh, take off some more. And they'd leave, and I did all of their heads at Honda.
I love it, man. Do you think, speaking of cheating, I already know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Obviously, it still goes on today.
Oh, absolutely it does.
Yeah.
If I was in there, I would be.
100%, right? It might be a little bit more difficult to get away with, but yeah.
Well, when you had Al Ludington there as a tech chef, tech steward, he was tough to get around. I didn't work at that time, but Al was, he knew.
Yeah.
He knew. I built at Daytona, we had to have a 24-liter max fuel tank. Can't be a drip over, 24 liters. And I built a 28-liter fuel tank. I built a 4,000 cc extra fuel tank that we put over the top of the valve covers. When you take the new Kawasaki that had the dual intakes, the Ram, when you pull the fuel tank off, the airbox, the carburetors, there was a gap underneath that sat vacant underneath on top of that valve cover. And this guy named Ebi-san showed me how to build a fuel tank out of balsa wood. And Gary Medley, he was the other one. And I built this fuel tank out of balsa wood because you could form it, and then we cut it in big pieces. And then I pounded out all the aluminum and shaped it so it fit. And we carried 4 more laps.
I love it, man. I love it.
We finished second that year. That's when I went into Honda and told them, I go, I built a fuel tank that beat you guys.
You didn't tell me the secret, did you?
And then, yeah, I did. It's like, I'm smarter than you, I guess, because what happened is Doug Chandler crashed in the West Horseshoe on the Harley, broke his collarbone.
I remember that.
Red flag.
1000, yeah.
Red flag. So Eric comes in and Al goes, we aren't going to make it to the end. You got to fill that tank. And I go, I got tech stewards all around here. How am I going to fill this fuel tank, extra fuel tank? So Joey Lombardo's pretty big, and he had the umbrella, and I'm over there siphoning fuel and filling up this fuel tank. So splash and go. Matt's gone. It was Matt, I think Curtis, and Eric. I think so. So they all came in for a splash and go. So where was timing and scoring? Because you're supposed to be when someone comes in, they came in on this lap, you time and score it, you know when it is. But that splash and go, nobody caught it. And they all came in, and there goes Eric. So when we got the tech and we took off the fuel tank, there was a half a liter left. It's just like a radiator with the overflow. It's going to draw from here first.
Yep.
And then that's gone. Then it takes from the main tank. But if I was racing, I'd be looking at all kinds of stuff.
There's always that gray area.
We ran different radiator caps when we went to Pikes Peak because of the air pressure. We wanted to blow quicker to keep that cooler. And then we put stock fans on it. Somebody saw that and they're like, you put stock fans on? Yeah. So when you go down, when you're in the infield, you can turn on the fan and get the air because there's no air. But on the straightaway, you could do whatever you want. You could have it on or off. And it would blow quicker. I learned all that over in Europe.
I love it, man. You know, let me ask you this racing side of things, USA versus Europe. I don't see it being too much different between the two, but what was it actually like working in both paddocks? Is it that much different?
No, not in the paddocks, but just the talent. You know, there's a lot more riders than there are seats, same here in the US. And a lot of times people move around because of that too. You know, they're not pulling it, so they're going to get put on a different team. But in World, I mean, we didn't have our hands tied in AMA. If you've got rules and regulations on some of this stuff, you know, you couldn't touch a port. If you even nicked it, man, you're out. You can't have it polished, you know, back in those days. But we worked out of F1 garages. We're here sometimes in tent, but when Indy came to Laguna and they built all that, that was all for Indy, those cars, those garages. You know, we never worked out of a tent in World or in MotoGP or in World 600. Never. We were always in a garage. We just had a race transporter. That would be the biggest difference. The racetracks are way different. They're way faster. like the old Hockenheimring or Monza,
Yeah.
Mugello. You know, they're
Mugello.
doing 227 now or something. But the racetracks were just so much. They were like Laguna everywhere in the U.S. Or maybe what would be Coda. Coda's
Yeah.
probably the one that's the best now. But Laguna's classic.
Oh, 110%. I've been to Laguna once in 2005 when MotoGP first come back, when Yamaha did the $2.5 million, $3 million to help do the whole wall moving and all that stuff. It was, you know, it's one of those tracks you show up, you just feel the presence in the history of the track, right? And it adds an extra element to it, and excitement. Then you show up and you walk up to the corkscrew, and after about 5 times doing it, you're like, yeah, I've seen it enough. I don't want to go back up that hill again. But it's beautiful.
Yeah. What do you drop, like 9 stories or something?
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, man, it's absolutely insane.
You know, the old Hockenheimring. You have the start. You make your right hander. It's wide open. It's a kilometer chicane, kilometer chicane, kilometer chicane, infield. It's 2 minutes, was like 2 minutes 12 seconds. So when they're gone, they're way out in that park. You can't even see them. And everybody's just sitting there looking at each other, and you wait for the infield crowd to roar because you know they're coming. So everybody gets ready on the pit lane. But that was you had to have a fast motorcycle. You had to have a fast motorcycle there. Fred won the double there. Both races on Sunday. That's a different format. I don't know what World Superbike does now, but MotoGP does sprint on Saturday, race on Sunday. We did race on Sunday, race on Sunday.
Yeah.
We do it in the morning, have lunch, and then we race in the afternoon.
Which is a good format. Hard on. Did you find that difficult? 2 races on the same day, or would you prefer a race on each day?
I think you just got used to it.
Yeah.
You know, that was the program, you know, and that's how we worked around it. It wasn't, I never felt like I was under pressure. I never folded under pressure.
I love it. But, you know, I have a question for you, man. And I've been thinking about this. You know, you've worked with absolutely so many legends of the sport, in particular, you know, Kenny Roberts, 2 kids, and both of them, one's a world champion. The other one's Curtis. He's a champion too. You know, to me, I feel like Curtis was always the most underrated Roberts out of everybody in the family. But to me, I always thought he was maybe the most naturally talented one of the bunch, if that makes sense.
I liked Curtis a lot. I enjoyed working with him. I know that he was the most pain in the ass rider I ever worked with. But we did a lot together, man. We had a lot of great successes, you know. I ended up going over to 500 GP, so I wore the Proton. I mean, it wasn't the best bike in the world, but I got to work with Kenny Roberts and 500 and be around all of those guys. And Biaggi, and the list is incredible. And I went over there with Curtis and Jürgen van Gerberg. Jürgen van den Gerberg got hurt. Yeah. So Curtis was the fill rider for him. So I was at Honda and they asked me to go over, and I'm like, sure, I want to go. It's my only opportunity. And yeah, I'll go. And I got to work on those bikes. So that was I remember Josh Hayes telling me about Melissa going over and riding, and she was like, what if I crash? It's like, go ahead. You're never going to get an opportunity like this again in your life. Go for it. And that's how I felt. Yeah, it's amazing how everything is together, but it's like, go for it. What do you got to lose?
Right. So
it's a motorcycle.
Right. And they're not going to invite you back. So what? You had the experience, right?
I got the Sunday shirt.
That's right. Dude, what was it like working with the 5? Because back then that was the 500 Grand Prix, right? That's when the 2 strokes were on. And to me, those were some of the best days in the MotoGP era, right? When it's 500 Grand Prix. What was it like? Man, tell us some stories about working in the paddock that year. Jeremy McWilliams actually was the last one to set a pole position on that very machine, that shirt you have on. was the last pole position ever on a 502 stroke with that team. So what was it like, man? Working in MotoGP. Well, what's MotoGP now?
500 GP.
Yeah, man. What was that experience like?
It was electrifying.
Yeah.
I'm getting goosebumps right now because I made it. I made it to the class I always wanted to go, even if it was for a week. I made it, and the people that I was around, and the noise and the speed and the smell. It's everything I ever thought of when I met Chandler, and of course doing it was just like, are you kidding me? These guys are riding these things, and now I'm here, and I got to go on the grid, and Curtis crashed, but I got to be a part of that. It's so different that circus moves. The circus moves like World Superbike does. All the bikes go together. So if somebody's is missing, everybody's missing. And all the teams travel together. They're on buses, or if they're Europe bound, but when they're traveling abroad, man, they're on maybe 3 or 4 buses. Everybody's taking them to the airport. Everybody's flying out. We're on the same airplanes. We'd get in food fights. I mean, on the plane, and the stewardesses were like, she just turned around and ran. And I remember Reg O'Rourke, they were throwing jelly, and he was all the way up front, and he's pinned up against the bulkhead, and just food is flying in on him. It was just back in the day, man. Oh my God.
I love it, man. I love it.
What's food fights at 35,000 feet, Dude, that was epic. all the racers and crew members. We all flew together.
I love it, man. I love it.
So it was electrifying for me.
100%, Danny. A question I have for you too is like, I've heard stories of B teams, because there used to be A and B teams. Now I don't really see that so much anymore because it's never mentioned in MotoGP, right, at all. So they kind of got away from that. But I've heard stories of when a rider gets on a B team, you're really not allowed to make a whole lot of adjustments on the bike. It's basically whatever the bike set up as, with very minimal adjustments. Is there any truth to that at all, or did you ever run across that?
When I was with Honda, they gave us, I had talked last podcast that they had gave us, which was their A kit is now a B kit, and Honda gave Honda America the A kits. We made ours work. We made it work, and actually we beat Miguel, and we won the championship there. We beat him into 200 with it. And then we went on to win the championship. So Rick Hobbs was a genius. He was a big part of that. That guy's electronically, but you can make them work. Marquez made his work, So I say, if you're going to give me that and it's better than what I got, give it to me and we'll figure it out,
That's it, man. That's it. I got a good buddy of mine, Daniel Shoemake, says, after the food fight story, I need a rental car story.
Okay. I guess this is so funny. I got my notes somewhere. I had it because I forgot it. Okay. We just finished in Japan. Scott won the double. And I'm with those Doyle boys. And Fabrizio Pirovano had a rent-a-car, and it was in the park, and those boys stole that car and pushed it off of a cliff in the park. It's a true story. So they didn't tell anybody what they did. So now we're all on these buses that we just talked about, right? And I'm with Pirovano. I was his mechanic. In Italian, we say ero suo meccanico. And they look and they go, hey, look at that car. And Pirovano looks and he goes, questa mia macchina, it's my car. And he pushed it off of the cliff when we were leaving the park that Monday morning. Gone. Those guys, they used to pull the fire extinguishers while you're sleeping. And you'd wake up and just cover your head because it'd just be coming in. I know it was Doyle. They never said anything, but they put M80s and firecrackers and rockets, all kinds of shit, all around my door in Malaysia. And they started it. And I woke up, this stuff was flying through my room. It was just blowing up. The door caught on fire. So they put it out, and I come out and I'm in my underwear, and this guy's looking at me. What did you do? I go, I didn't do anything. I was in bed. I don't know who the hell did. Remember, I was telling you, you never know if you're next. But they blew my door up, caught it on fire.
Bro,
I
listen,
know it was Doyle, and I know it was them because they're no good.
Peter Doyle, we got
Those
you.
guys-
We got you.
I'm pretty sure it was Doyle.
Dude, that's
And the rent-a-cars, man, in the lake, and then of course in the ocean. There was always cars in the ocean down on A1A. I mean, that was just a regular. You get so hammered and you drive your car into the water. I don't know. I drove my car in Italy into a lake. I thought I could get through it. And I started sinking. And I could see my lights in the water, and the water's coming up. It's to my ankles right now. I'm going down. It's going over the top of the roof. And I rolled down the window, and you'll be amazed how fast the car fills when you're submerged underwater. It fills really quick, and I swam out of there, but I was on the bottom of the lake with just see my headlights. I thought I could make it across.
didn't make it across, did
Oh
you?
no, I made it to the bottom.
Bro.
Oh my God, soaking wet. Of
Dude.
course.
Dude, I'm sure there's people that's been banned from renting cars for sure. That's
Well,
hilarious.
the Japanese, they were just so afraid of us when we came because
What
we
wa-
would just tear stuff up.
What was it like, racing out there in Japan? That's I always was fascinated by the Suzuka track, right? To me, it's always been one of my favorite tracks. It's such a unique track. It's one of those you show up, the history, you feel it, right? I've never been there. I had a buddy that live in he was in the Air Force, Okinawa, so he used to go there and watch World Superbike and stuff like that. And he was like, dude, it's brilliant. It's absolutely amazing.
It's
He's been
a
on the
huge
Ferris
park.
wheel. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a park.
It's an
Amusement
amusement park. So was Sugo. Sugo was like that, not like that, but it was a park.
Nope.
Huge park. You got to drive in to get in on buses.
Yeah.
But it's just it was a super smooth track we had talked about last time, and there's no cars on it. It's just strictly motorcycles. So it's super smooth. There's no entry chatter. There's no exit chatter. The corners are just beautiful, beautiful racetrack.
The culture obviously is completely different. In the way that the Japanese approach racing. Did you notice a difference? Their methodical. I just messed that word up. I don't even want to try to pronounce, but the way they approach racing in general, is that really a lot different than the way we do it?
When we were in Japan, and then they'd have their Japanese class come out, like the 125s or the 250s, and they had their own class because they'd be part of the show. And everybody would go out on the wall to watch these guys start because they kamikaze into turn one, and they're taking everybody out. And that's all we were there for, is just to see turn one. They take everybody out.
I love it.
Just kamikaze in, and just everybody's gone.
One thing that I noticed too, we don't have any more stand-in fill-in rides hardly at all, like wild card rides. They used to call it back in the day, especially especially in Japan. They'd have a Japanese rider stand in at Yamaha or Honda or whatever, a World Superbike, and just absolutely dominate, right?
Well,
because of the track
America
knowledge.
had Mike Hale, they had Miguel Duhamel,
Yep.
they had guys that came in. I don't know who else, but those guys come to my mind because I know them really well. But we always had Gobert was a wild card ride for us when he filled in for Terry Reimer.
Yep.
So another thing I want to say that I forgot about Carl Fogarty. I'm pretty sure this is true. Carl was the first non-factory rider to win a World Superbike race.
Really?
At Donington Park. I was there. He was a non-factory support rider, and he won. He led the first race and crashed the last corner going on in the straightaway. He had that race won. He came back to second race and won it. So Carl, I'm pretty sure he's the only non-factory support rider that ever won a World Superbike race.
Man,
Pretty awesome.
yeah, that's amazing. Another one that speaking of Donington was I posted a picture not too long ago on Facebook of Aaron Slight. Um, no, was it Aaron? It wasn't Aaron Slight. It was
111.
yeah, dude, it was Aaron Slight.
That's Aaron Slight.
The Kiwi, he had the record at Donington, even over Valentino Rossi in 2001, I think.
Yeah.
He set this astronomical lap time on a Ducati. I think it was a Ducati he was on at the time that took years for anybody to beat.
He was a stepchild. He was such an excellent rider. And he finished second. Those were those number ones where
Yep.
he finished second 3 times. That's why that number came up. But he got close. Pirovano got close. You know, Fred beat him. But yeah, he was one of the best second place finishers I've ever seen in my life, man. That guy was incredible. And that Castrol Yamaha or Honda was fast. Those guys, he was teammates with Colin Edwards.
Yep. On the RC35. Yeah.
Yep.
He was, yep. Yeah, because I remember actually Foggy left Ducati, went to Honda because he thought he needed a Honda to win, and then ended up going back to Ducati and won the championship.
And then collecting all the rings.
And collecting all the rings. Absolutely. So what was it like with what was, you sitting here telling the stories about, Doug Chandler and all these, but what were they really like away from the track?
Super mellow. Doug, you've talked to him, man. He's just, that's how he was. He didn't have much to say. He was a very quiet guy. Curtis was really quiet. They all were pretty quiet. They loved the fans. But I think the mechanics were more outspoken than the riders. We were.
Listen,
we were all over.
I guarantee it. You guys were probably the most mischievous of the bunch for sure.
Always trying to find something to do, to someone else, because they're going to do it to you.
110%. Speaking of that, man, who was the biggest clown of all the riders that you worked with?
Robbie Phillips.
Hands down.
That I worked with? Oh,
Yeah.
I was just in general be Robbie Phillips, the biggest clown that I ever worked with. God. Scott was wild. There was this guy. Poland was wild. People don't realize.
Doug.
Scott bought a Viper in Daytona. Muzzy went and bought it for him because he knew he was going to win the 200 and it would have been paid for. That's no shit. And he did win the 200. And he got the car. Rob Muzzy and them went and got that car for him. And Doug Poland shows up and he wants to, can I drive it? And Scott goes, yeah. He takes off and he's doing donuts in this brand new Viper in Daytona. Like, are you kidding me? But he bought that car knowing he was going to win because that was his bonus. So I want this car. And Rob went and bought it for him.
I love it, man. Listen, you've had so many amazing journeys and met so many people. I couldn't imagine all the stories you can't tell on camera, right?
I could, ask me.
Tell us, okay. Tell us one of the craziest nights out you had with the team.
That would have been in, Fred and I, we went to Monaco. We did the Italian Championship in, it's not Vallelunga. It wasn't Misano. There's the World Superbike races there, but he took me to Monaco and we get shit faced. And we're walking in, we're in shorts and flip flops, and we're walking into the palace, into the casino. And obviously we're on camera. We get all the way in, we're in, and all these guys in suits come up and get out. They turned us around. But we ordered, Fred won the double in Hockenheim, Hungaroring in Budapest. So we got the Bishop Suite at the Forum, which was the #1 hotel in the world at that time. And it's right on the Danube. So we're hammered. We get these girls for sure, and we're bringing them up to the room, and we're not allowed to bring girls into the room. We didn't know that. It's like, oh shit, okay, so you gotta go. So we're looking at the menu. We got hammered. We were drinking grappa, frog leg grappa, strawberry grappa. And I go, what are you going to have for breakfast? He goes, order everything on the menu for breakfast. So we ordered everything on the menu. So 1 egg, 1 bacon, 2 eggs, 2 bacon. I mean, they came with 6 carts of food for us. And we were hung over so bad. And they wanted his autograph, and he's in bed, he's hammered, and they bring in all 6 carts of food. He ordered everything on the menu.
That's hilarious.
But we had, when we go to Checo, we had 8 of us that had 500 US each. Okay, we have $4,000 to spend in one night in Checo, where the rupia was 100,000 to 1. So we could have anything we wanted. We had Russian caviar, champagne, the girls. It's
Love
just
it.
crazy. It was out of control. I had Ambrogio Arzuffi take me in Spain. He goes, Danny, there's a negligee bar. And I went, really? Let's go. So we get in there, man, and they're all over you. It's just like, I should live here. It's like, it's the greatest thing I ever saw. It's like, they're gorgeous. And it's like, oh, yeah, you're pretty. You're all pretty. And they're all over you in negligees.
I'd be like, I'll take one of every one of them. Let's go. Let's go.
It's insane what goes on over there. I mean, I'd go and do it all again.
Dude, 110%. You know, speaking of this, dude, do you have any, man, I got to go bail this dude out of jail stories?
Do you know what? When we were in US and Anthony Gobert was with Terry Vance, Terry had to go and bail him out of jail every Sunday before the race.
Really?
Every Sunday. He had to go get him out of jail.
Bro.
Oh, yeah. Where's
Every
Anthony? Police station. He's here. Go get him. He'd be out fighting and just getting wasted. And he'd be on that bike the next day. He was there.
winning.
Yeah. Podium. But he was in jail every Saturday night. People don't know that shit.
I love
That
it.
is, that's the truth. He was such an awesome person to be around and work with. But he's
He was a different breed for sure.
yeah, he was a rock star.
Yeah, he I remember the only time I met him in person was, and I said this last time, was at Phoenix International Raceway, the last time AMA went there. And it was, I haven't really got starstruck meeting a lot of the riders, but he was one of the ones that clearly vivid remember it was just a different aura and energy coming from him versus anybody else, right? And that smile, and he's like, "Hey, mate," you know, and that accent, just so friendly, and just,
Right.
dude, had 2 girls with him, of course, 2 girls, and like as soon as I asked for my autograph and got a picture, he's like, "Okay, cool, enough of you, focus back on the women," right? And then, yeah, it was hilarious.
When he came to Kawasaki in Phillip Island, like I didn't know really who he was. I didn't know who Richard Arnez was when he came over, to Europe, but I didn't really know his background. And he was a motocross guy, and I'm sure he did some Australian SB Superbike, but I had no idea who this guy's talent was. So I just met him as, "Hey, how you doing, Chris? Right? You a rider? Let's go, man. The seat's open." And then I come to find out who he really was and what he did for us. So I was talking to you before, and I just can't believe the people that I've been around that I never knew who they were. And that's why I think what you're doing here is so important, maybe for a lot of people, even young mechanics that are coming up, and that what was out there. And pay attention to who you're around, because you have no idea the greatness. And I didn't know. I was telling you, I was with Marco Lucanelli, and it was like he was always next to me. He was with Filappa and Roche. And I didn't know he was an 81 World 500 GP champion. I had no idea who this guy was. I just knew him as Lucky. Franco Uncini. I was talking about Agostini. I had no idea. Or Duhamel's dad. I had no idea who these guys were when I got there. And when I found out later, I was like, wow, you were in greatness. Had no idea.
Pure greatness for sure. Uh, Daniel says, "Do you see any modern riders that have that spark that the wild guys of the past have?"
Hmm. I think Josh Heron is I love Josh. I just think he's just really aggressive on the track. I watch him, I like him, but it's like I've watched him for years when he was racing back in Ben Spees and he was young. I've known him since he was 16.
Yeah.
And he's always been aggressive. I mean, but wild, he's those guys, I don't see anybody. I would think the mechanics are more the party animals than the riders are now. You know, nobody's doing cocaine that I know of.
Which was a thing back in the day in the paddock, I'm sure.
80s and 90s, you know.
Oh,
When I met Anthony, they called me, Scott Russell called me after that race that Sunday when he first came on. He goes, "Come on downstairs, we're partying." I'm like, "Okay, I was almost ready to go to bed." So I go down there and I go see Anthony and he turns like this and he's got a bag of weed hanging off of the side of his head. And he goes, "Do you smoke?" Like, okay.
Absolutely. Let's go. Right. Yeah.
Do you smoke? Yeah. Back then, man, there
wasn't like, were they real big on drug tests back then?
no, but they later you could get tested if you were found positive if you were jacked up. But they pretty much tested the riders. And I never got asked to do anything, you know, but we were partying all the time.
Well, listen, what was the greatest party you've been to then?
Oh boy, I would say South Africa when we were down there with James Whittam and Carl and Gramini. Everybody was there. You know, South Africa was incredible. We were drinking all the wine, the Big Five that they call the Big Five. I was there with Tardozzi. I was there. There's Giulio Bardi, everyone that was in World Superbike back then. I mean, there's names. We raced against Poland, Roche, Terry Reimer, Juan Lopez Maya, Falapa, Mertens, Anders Anderson, Yari Shoshonen, Jeffrey DeVries, Robbie Phillips, Aaron Slight, Carl Fogarty, Fabrizio Provano, Scott Russell, Pier Giorgio Bontempi, Daniel Armatrian, Neil McKenzie, Tiger Shoa, Roger Burnett, Ruben McMurder, Tardozzi, Vieira, Alex Vieira, Mike Baldwin, Dawson, Monty, Kip, Picot, McElnay, McGee. I mean, those were, I wrote these down because there's more. When I look at the list, it's like, holy shit.
Dude, I ain't heard Kevin McGee's name in a hot minute, dude. That brings back.
Okay, check this out. I don't have my toolbox in here. It was either 90, Roche won in 90, Poland won in 90, 91. Pretty sure. So I might be wrong on the year, but I know that Poland won 14 races that year. You had Ducati, you had Mertens, Roche, Falapa, Fogarty, Poland. You had 5 Ducatis that were basically on the first 2-3 rows. And those guys won 23. Ducati won 23 races that year. Kevin McGee won in Australia and Phillip Island on the Yamaha. That was the only win that year. Ducati won every race except one.
That's
domination.
Yeah,
everybody was fighting for second.
Yeah. Felipe, that's another name. His first name Gallardo or man, I can't. Started with a G, didn't it? His first name,
Goreski?
Yeah.
Vittoriano Goreski?
Yeah.
He was my rider. We finished second. We lost to Pirovano in 98, but he was Valentino's
mechanic. Well,
he was his manager. Well,
oh yes, that's right. Yes.
And with Nick was on that team too that year. I was in the box with those guys, and I know Valley. You know, he knows me, and like, he's been in my pit box in Mugello. You know, back in '98 when we were working on our knees, And the only thing, everybody sat on the ground, and Valentino's in our pit box sitting on the ground, and our fuel tank's the only thing that had a stand. Everything was on the ground. But I remember him, and he knows who I was. When I stepped into Laguna to his pit box, he was being debriefed. He looked at me and just turned away. It's like, I'm no threat, bro, because I'm talking here with Vito. He knows who I was.
Love it, man. You know, again, another great one. Valentino's absolutely, he's always hands down to me the GOAT of all. Not when I say the GOAT, I mean everything he did for the sport, right? Yes, he's naturally talented. Yes, he's won so many championships, but also how he brought MotoGP to what it is today, and all the fans around the world that made the sport what it is today. Without him, I don't think it would be as popular as it is now.
He was a part of a lot of the money coming into
100%
sport itself.
Yep.
Because of how Russell was another one, how they looked on the track, their leathers, the feathers, Valentino's half yellow, you know, he looked good on the track, and he proved it.
And he talks shit. That's one thing I loved about him too. He talks shit.
I was in Sepang. Is it Sepang? And he won the race there. I watched him there. And it was pretty cool to see him ride. I go out and watch the corners during the race. He ran away with it.
What? So you're out there watching, obviously, the corners. What's one thing you noticed that Valentino had that nobody else had?
His I wouldn't say they're all an inch perfect.
Yeah.
Those guys are just, but just where he leaned on the bike, where he was positioned on the bike, you know, I like to see him more forward, like Haga. Was it Haga? Haga cut his teeth off the front of the bike. I think Edwards did too, but I just really liked his position on the bike. I mean, when you got a rider like Merkel that would sit back further in the saddle, that weight's going back here. So you got to give him a little more ass, but, you know, more spring. But because Fred was heavy, he wasn't heavy, but he was big. I mean, he was 175.
That's big for,
you know. But I just liked his style on where he wasn't positioned on the bike. You know, where I like to see where they're picking it up. You can really tell who's fast, and it's a millisecond when they're starting to pick it up. You can hear it.
Yeah.
And you just mark it and wait for the next guy. And I used to have stopwatches out there, and I do splits on people all the time. Now they have all that stuff for you. We didn't have that back then. I had to go out there and do splits and come and look at my guy and look at who's running, who's in front, who's the top runner right now, and let's pull some splits on them and break it down to where we can maybe pick it up some other corner, some other section. But you know, Matt, we talked about Matt. That guy was just
Matt's an animal. I mean,
second here, 10th. He just pick you apart.
Milad to me was one of the most ruthless riders out there on the track. Just the way he mentally approached it, and you know, like you said, everybody's an inch perfect. He just had that. I remember, was it Sonoma? Might have been Sonoma. It was one particular coming out of left-hand corner, man. He would always clutch it coming out of this corner. And I was like, dude, he was the only one doing it.
He's feathering the clutch.
Yes.
I think he was like doing his own traction control.
Dude, it was like amazing. Yeah. And it was like just so inch perfect every time. And it was just, he's
you had Amar Bazaz with those guys.
Yeah.
Amar is a engineer. Yeah. Guy was, I remember talking to him, and he told me, he goes, we're doing stuff that you aren't even doing. And I just kind of went, oh man, what are you guys doing? You know, he did. He told me right to my face.
I love it, man.
We're doing things that you aren't doing.
We're doing all the things you guys ain't doing. It's funny.
And he beat us.
He beat us. Yeah. I actually got a brand new Amari Boz Trax Control fuel controller, the whole module box for a Ducati 1198R that brand new sealed up.
He went to some big school back east. I can't remember where but it wasn't Cornell. It was big. Cornell's big, but he went to a big school. Big school. Super smart.
You've been in this sport a long time. You've seen all the changes. What do you think of the state of our sport now?
Which side we're at?
Just with racing in general.
I think I had talked to you about when I talked to Richie Dorn and the thousands were going away, and I think that World Superbike might be going to 600. They might be going back.
I think the same.
You know, the cost, the absolute cost, like that's why they can pay a guy 12 grand. You know, I mean, it's like it's astronomical what it costs for a privateer today. Like for someone to race in Moto America, I did some work on it, and I think it's like $10,000 to $12,000 for the weekend.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And you might not qualify. You know, you got to pay people. You got hotels, you got the transport, you got fuel, you got tires. So, and a lot of those guys are racing for that the tortilla money. What is that? The mission they get
Mission
money?
Foods, yeah.
Being they're getting $5,000, that might be that's huge.
Yeah.
They're really not. I can't imagine what they're making. Like I talked to Josh Hayes a couple of years ago, and he didn't think anybody was over 100 grand, and I mean they were making.
Bang.
I know.
Boy.
I mean, Honda America's racing budget in the U.S. was they gave us like $12-14 million.
That's not existing in our paddock now.
And we got paid bonuses.
Yeah.
You know, we ran 3 riders. We had Nicky, Miguel, and Curtis. And if any of those podium, you got paid, even though it wasn't your guy. Part of the team. And if they win a championship, which Nick did, we got the bonus. You know, there was money flying all around. I mean, mechanics were making $150,000, $180,000 a year where I was at. I mean, Yamaha paid me over 200 million lira. It was like, I don't know, 110,000. And then you get bonuses. And they paid my tax, and they paid for my apartment, and they paid for my food and my travel. So we're just getting this money, and we just run around with, you know, at $500, and at the end of the race weekend, wherever we were, we had $8,000 or five. Yeah, we had $4,000. What do you want to do? And then when we go overseas, we'd hire a driver. Like in Malaysia, we'd hire a driver because if we needed something, we paid him really good, but he took us all around. He'd take us to the chocolate house.
Take us to all the good spots. That's right. I like it, man. I like
chocolate
it.
house. We were sitting there one time, Curtis and I, and these girls just one at a time, they walked by with a number on it. Like, oh my God. Number 4, number 6.
Right, number 12, number 8.
It's like
let's go.
It's insane what goes on over there.
What was the best country you was in your time?
Budapest was my favorite.
Budapest.
By far. I just love that country. You had the old city, the new city, Budapest, and then the Danube. You had the square where all of their leaders, I don't know what they weren't presidents, but their leaders were on. If they were a teacher, there'd be a statue of them teaching. If they were a warrior, they're on a horse with a sword. It's still there. And then they have all of them buried in this tomb in the square, and they've got 2 guards 24 hours, 7 days a week guarding them. But they had like mortar shells hit into these walls when we were there back in the 80s. And we raced in Sarajevo, and Split was at war. Sarajevo fell in 94. We were still racing in Rijeka. We were racing in Rijeka in 89, 90. That war was on. I remember going into the customs and showing my passport. He goes, "No Americans." Here's my passport. He goes, "No Americans." So I opened it up. I've got an entertainer visa. I'm going to be here for 7 days, and I'm out of here. It's already taken care of. And as soon as they saw that, they start stamping. Now Europe is EC. You can go anywhere you want.
Yeah.
But we had to carry a carnet of engine numbers, frame numbers, everything that we had on that truck, because that had to come back with us, because you might be selling it to another country. That stuff had to come back. So they would check everything when you went through Dolgana in customs. They want to see the engine numbers. They want to see the serial numbers on those bikes because the carnet, it traveled with this paper.
Man,
So
that's and then obviously speaking of that, obviously you heard the news of that drug cartel with the $30 million in motorcycles that was seized. Bro, how crazy is that, Danny? He had MotoGP bikes, Rossi, Davizioso. I mean, it's crazy.
he was a former Olympian.
Yeah, former Olympian. Yep.
He should be cooked for that. That's a $40 million heist.
That's insane.
There were bikes stolen in the paddock when we were in World Superbike. Krister
Really?
Lindholm's bike was stolen. I think in Austria. They stole his
That's
bike.
crazy.
He went in and was gone.
That's nuts. It's like somebody tried to steal Jorge Martin's pedal, his $20,000 pedal bike out of the paddock, and I was like, why would you even do that? It's just
I remember. I think it was Roger Hayden. Somebody stole his leathers at Laguna.
No way.
Yeah, and I think it was Roger Hayden. And they got the guy because he's walking out with this stuff. So they brought him back to the truck. The police did. The security guys, and I go, so can we talk to him for like 5 minutes on the inside?
Let us have that.
They
file,
went.
please.
The cops go, no, you can't do that. I go, we're just going to talk to him for 5 minutes.
We promise.
We're going to beat the shit out
Beat
of
the
him.
shit out there. Beat the brakes off this dude, right? We need an ambulance in the back of the Kawasaki.
Yeah. That cop looked at me, smiled, and he's like, no.
Can't do it, bud.
Can't
I
do it.
wish I could, but I can't do it.
Just 5 minutes.
That's it, dude. Just give us 3 then. Just 3. Here, we'll pay you. We'll pay
Dude,
you.
we had so much fun in Spain. I remember the cops came up to our pits and we were looking at their motorcycles and their chains were all kinked, dirty and that. And I told them at the end of the race, you guys bring your bikes here and we'll put the race chains on. And we cut off their chains and put them on for them. And if there was a big crowd and all the cops are around and that, and we're putting chains on their bikes, we were running 520s and we got a police escort out of there.
I love it, man.
Oh, they dug it so much.
A dude changing lives. You know, those, they'll never forget you for that, ever. And they're telling their grandkids that story right now to this day. Dude, I remember the time. Yeah, dude, that's, again.
Well, they go back to the police shop wherever they're at and just like, look what these guys did, man. We all got new chains.
That's right. What do you guys got? Not new
They
chains.
got 200 miles on them. They're just broke in, you know.
Yeah.
But we put them on and it was a lot of fun.
What do you think the sport will ever get back to the days that used to be? I'm not talking about the golden days, but as far as money being back in the paddock like it used to be.
In Europe, it is, but
Yeah.
here, I worry about it. I remember I talked to you before, and Merlin Plumley had told me, Danny, your job is to take this torch and continue the sport and make it better. And I did. We all did at that time. And then AMA disappeared. And, Wayne's doing his best. He's got a lot. He's doing a good job. It's just the money. Where's the money at? Maybe this year things will be better. I'm looking at a better year this year, 2026. And hopefully things will get better. The stock market's good. There's a lot of money out there.
Yeah.
I'm blown away. The people I run into that have money, I'm like, you would never know.
Yeah.
But they're not putting it in racing. It's almost like these guys have to go find their own sponsors, like NASCAR.
That's, yeah. Do you ever, do you wish you was back in the paddock right now?
Do I?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would love to go back. But I don't have the time anymore. I have the passion. I have the love. Nothing's gone away. I just don't, I don't have the time. I can't give you 10 years. I'm going to be 67. It's like, I don't want to be one of those guys.
Yeah.
Al Ludington's
He's doing
my
it.
goodness, man.
He's doing it, boy. Yes, he is.
And he's a good shit.
Yes, he is.
We were big rivals, man, and he was a good shit. I was telling you before, when he was with Miguel and we were with Doug Chandler, and he'd come over and take my tire warmers off on the grid to see what tires I was running. And I'm like, we're running an 884 front and an 881 rear, Al. We're running softs. Miguel's on bowling balls. We already know that because his shit it's not working. We already know that. And we're going to beat you. But I told her, I go, why don't you just ask me? I'll tell you what we're running because you can't run them. You know,
You
you
can't do what we do.
Oh, Miguel drove that bike from the rear. He just off the rear. Everything was off the rear. And eventually he'd take off in the beginning of the race. And here would come Doug Chandler. Well, halfway we'd get him and Doug's gone. He was done. His tires were gone. And we beat Miguel 2 years in a row. 96, 97.
Bro. Daniel
But
says,
I'd love to be back, you know?
dude, I would love to have you back for sure. Daniel wants to know, do you have any good cheating stories you can share?
Cheating? I got lots. I don't know if you missed the podcast when we started, but the tires, the wheels themselves, I take the bearings out of them, and they were caged, and I take the cages off so the bike would free spin. You'd push our bike and you'd have to run with it. It was just no one would ever ask for our wheels. Scott Russell's bike, Doug really liked that bike, and then they changed it. So there was something wrong with the rear, and the bike was sitting lower so that the linkages were working down here instead of getting stroke. So Gary Medley had me measure Scott's old frame, and I made a jig off of it, and we put it onto Chandler's new frame, and it was off about 3 mil, one way. So I cut off, which is illegal. I cut the link off the bike itself on the bottom and put it where Russell's used to be. And what it did is it raised it up higher because it was only working down here. And now it worked up here. So I remember I'm welding it, and Muzzy comes over. He goes, "It's not hot enough. It's not hot enough. I got this torch on this thing to get this bike hot." He goes, "You're heliarching." And he goes, "It's not hot enough." I go, "Rob, it's gonna fucking melt." Okay, it's like it's so hot. And then this welding table that he had me on, I'd be welding, and you get electrocuted. You'd be welding, or the fuel tank we had to make. But I put electric shifter on Curtis's 600 speed shifter, which was illegal. I built an auxiliary fuel tank for Eric Bostrom at Daytona, which is totally illegal.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Running 4,000 cc more of fuel, which actually got us into second place. I lowered. Chandler always liked his bike low, so the seat itself, the holes that came in it, I plugged them and welded them, and then I lowered it down. But when you lower the rear seat, it changes the lines of the bike because it was already painted. So we had to make those changes because Chandler wanted to be on the ground. His bike was low, and we had talked about that before. But I made lots of changes on bikes constantly. We cheated in World 600 and Ambrogio Arzuffi. We could split our engines and change the transmissions instead of taking it down, breaking the cases. He made a change that we could change the transmission in like 30 minutes.
Like I said,
can't do that. And we never got caught.
That's insane.
Yeah, he was cool. I'm going to Italy next summer, not this summer, but the next one. And I'm going to go see the boys at Biasono, the Moto Club in Monza, where Ferrari's home track is. That was Yamaha's. That's our home track. Yep. Was Monza. Yep. And I live there, so I'm going to go see all those guys.
Love it, man. I love it, and they're going to be happy to see you too as well. I know for sure.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Dude, Robert Maxwell says, "Let's go," and he says, "I wish he was in my pits this year. How awesome would that be?"
I'll be there at Laguna.
There you go. Right. Yeah. I wish I could make the glue. And I said this last time, dude, me and you one day, we'll definitely meet in person, bro. It'd be an absolute honor to get together and hang out for sure.
You said something, Chris, and in my mind, when you had Doug Chandler sign your helmet, I have a feeling that I was standing there.
Dude,
I,
you
I,
probably
re,
was.
I remember that for some reason when you told me that. And after our podcast, it hit me. I was like, I remember him doing that. A guy came up and he said it, he clear coded it and it ran and Doug signed it and it just hit me. Didn't meet you, but we were standing next to each other.
Love it, dude. I love it. Yeah. I actually had the Muzzy t-shirt with Chandler on the back. I still got that t-shirt hanging up my car. I never got, it's full of holes. And my wife's like, are you ever going to get rid of that thing?
Yeah.
I said, absolutely not. No.
You know what's really cool is the riders gave me their trophies.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Dude, how awesome.
Nikki gave me one from Brainerd when he won. Curtis Roberts gave me the Laguna Seca 2000. July 9th is my birthday. That was the race. He won the race on the 600 and he gave me the trophy. Scott Russell gave me his 2 first place Mizanos. Crystals. I got them. I've got Doug Chandler's Pikes Peak. I got Eric Bostrom's Pikes Peak. I've got Pirovano's Mizano.
Love it.
Chandler's Mizano. I mean, Scott Russell's Mizano. Yeah, I've got quite a few of them.
Love it, dude. I love it. It's how awesome, you know. It's again, it's those memories you'll never forget. And every time you look at one, I'm sure it brings back a certain memory. And it's not always the same memory when you look at them, too, right? Yeah. It's always a new one that pops up. You're like, man, I forgot about that. It makes you laugh, and maybe sometimes it makes you cry at the same time, right, Danny?
Yeah. If you ever want something from a rider, find their mechanics because they have everything. If you want something from Miguel Duhamel, go see Al Ludington and Joey Lombardo. They got all the Smoke and Joe shit. They still got them. When I went to Laguna last year, I had my Smoke and Joe's hat on, and I went over to Ludington. I go, you see this?
I love it, dude. Speaking of that, I actually got I've had it for, I don't know. See, Rossi's 13 now. I think Rossi was either right before he was born or right after he was born. We went out to like this little flea market, and I really didn't want to go. I was like, man, I don't want to go to this flea market, right? And I'm glad I went because this lady had a camel tin full of original matches that was still an original pack, and of course on it had the Smoke and Joe's Camel RC45 of Miguel Dumel. That's the main reason why I bought it. I was like, I gotta have this.
So I took this from Curtis.
Love it.
This is when Dale Earnhardt died, and he put that on there. So I've got another one there too, but it's never been worn. I have like 3 of them. And he goes, Danny, you have more helmets than I do. I go, Curtis, just call the Ryan and get more, man. Don't worry about it. I'm taking these. So these are brand new.
I love it, man. History.
Pretty cool helmet.
Yes, dude, it's beautiful. Yeah, history, man. It's yeah, I still got my Chandler helmet. It's something I'll never. I got that. I got a bunch of Rossi helmets signed. I got Colin Edwards. I got his autobiography signed. I got a bunch of Nicky Hayden's signed stuff. Actually, when I met his dad, I met him several times, but they just come out with that book, The Haydens by Earl Hayden, I think is what it's called. Nicky, I think he was already passed at the time, maybe. Anyway, I got Earl to sign it, Tommy and Roger to sign it. So yeah, and then when they come out with that big book from Owensboro, Kentucky to MotoGP, right. I got Nicky to sign that one.
You know, Earl was in the horse racing.
I know he was, yes, which is crazy.
He was a cheater too.
Of course he was, man. Come on, man. Yes.
He used to stuff his horse with cotton, and so that they would he'd be breathing really hard and put the odds up, and then he'd pull the cotton out. Earl told me he went. Do you know that he got kicked out? He was booted out for cheating, and he did. And he used to dress up in disguise to go in there and bet.
That sounds like something he would do, dude.
He told me that. I go, really? He goes, oh, I dress up, and they wouldn't even know who the hell I was, and I go make my bets because I wasn't allowed in anymore.
I love it, dude. I love it. Yeah, it's to me, the Haydens are such a unique family in the history of motorcycle racing.
Yeah.
I don't think we're ever going to have another, at least in our lifetime, a family like that comes through for sure.
The closest one would be, and they're not close, but would be Marquez.
Yeah,
Those
for
two
sure.
brothers. I mean, there's just nothing like that.
No,
And Alex he's fast. He's
he is, but I feel like I feel like with Alex, I feel like I don't know him personally, right? I've never hung out with him or anything, but just outside looking in, I think he puts a lot of added pressure on himself just because of who his brother is, right? And I don't think it's intentional, so to speak,
right.
but I think just being that guy's brother has like
Sure.
Luca Moriti with Rossi, right? Everybody said, "Oh, the real reason why you got this ride, Luca, is because of who your brother is." Bullshit. He's there because he can ride. That's why he's
Right.
got the ride, right? He's got the talent. Might not be Rossi talent, but he's talented. So, yeah, yeah. Hayden's are definitely unique.
They were really cool. Rose and Earl and the boys, they were
Legacy.
always cool to hang out with.
I seen Tommy at Jersey. He's with Essen Yamaha, and man, he did put on a little weight, right? Not gonna lie. But I seen him. I was like, Tommy, dude, Simcoe. I do a podcast, Pin to Gas, and didn't even ask him to come on. I was just like, dude, I just want to tell you a story, and I know you probably got this a million times, but it was an honor to name my son after your brother Nicky, and I told him the story. Hey, Rossi's what I named my son, and he's like, he just put this smile on his face. He said, man, I haven't really smiled a whole lot this weekend, but thank you for that, because that made my day. And I was like, let's go, Tommy Gunn, right? He just turned around and smiled again. Tommy was always, to me, he was different from all, of course, Nicky and Roger. To me, I don't think he was as serious, at least for me being a fan point looking at it, but he had this different energy about him than the other two had, if that makes sense.
They all were national champions.
Of course they were.
So, but Tommy always seemed to be a little bit shy.
Yeah.
Sometimes the bike scared him. Be honest, Daytona scared the shit out of him first time he was ever on that track. I remember he came in and he just sat there, and I go, "Are you all right?" And he's like, "No, man." He did his out lap and did one lap and came in and sat down. It's fucking fast.
I bet. I've never rode it.
Gobert used to tell me, "There's nothing like it, mate. You get on the bank and your head's moving like this and it's banking off the tank and you're just hanging on and you're just."
And Tommy's
he loved
like,
it.
wow. Yeah.
He loved that shit. Look at him at Phillip Island going down that straightaway. That's
Bro,
balls to go into that one.
dude.
That's big balls, because you'd end up across that other side of that racetrack. Keep going. That's huge. You go down there, you got problems. Because you're already going downhill.
It's that's what I've never been to Phillip Island. Unfortunately, I hear a lot of these rumors where it's not going to be in MotoGP no more. But it's one of those tracks. Like, how is Phillip Island really hilly? Of course, Lukey Heights, it's absolutely hilly right there. But as far as the other track is, it's got a lot of undulations all to it.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
The front straightaway is big. It's really big. I remember Stefan Mertens was leading. He came out of the last turn and hit a patch of water. He was in the lead, and it spit him off, and the bike ghost rode, and it hit the pit wall lane and went all the way down to the end and burned to the ground. It was huge. And I'm sitting there, I'm new, and I'm sitting there looking at this bike coming, and Norris Farrell grabs me and pulls me off of the wall because it's coming. I'm like, look at this.
A deer in headlight. Oh!
He pulled me, and I actually pulled me down to the ground. He pulled me that hard to get me off the wall. Man. But it's a fast racetrack. It's really fast.
I love Phillip Island. I think it's a beautiful track. I just love the layout. It's one of those tracks that I play on my video games. It just flows so well. It's yeah, man. And I'll never forget 2000 Bob Moda, Anthony Gobert won at Phillip Island. The only win that Bob Moda had, I'm pretty sure, that year or at all, period, in World Superbike, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I think it's the only win my moto ever had.
I had because we raced on Sundays, and a friend of mine wanted me to explain the Sundays. When you win the double, you win in the morning and you win in the afternoon. You're the best that day. And I won. My bikes won at Donington Park twice, so I've got 2 doubles there. I won twice at Hungary. That's 4.
Yes.
Okay, so 2 doubles. One at Germany with Fred, 2 doubles. Phillip Island, 2 doubles, and Japan, 2 doubles. Scott Russell was gave Kawasaki their first double win ever in World Superbike. Check this out. So Kawasaki brings us their bike, one bike, the best bike they've got in Japan at Kawasaki, and we have our 2. At the end, Scott tested all of them, and at the end of the Saturday session, Scott goes, "I want that frame, that engine with those forks." 3 bikes I had to take apart and build one. And he won both races that day. So Sunday after it's over, I've got to rebuild 3 motorcycles. But that's what he told me. I want that shock, that frame, and that engine on one bike.
He was like, "Yes, sir. I'll make it happen."
I did. Medley and I, man. And then we had to build 3 bikes back. We were there a long time.
Do you ever talk to any of your old friends in the paddock?
I go to Laguna. Hopefully I run into them. You know, some of them don't have the passion. I don't see a lot of guys, but I keep contact with Fred. He lives 5 hours from me. I speak with Scott when I can. I try to keep in touch with them. You know, Josh Hayes was on my team. He was a teammate, but he wasn't a rider of mine. But Steve Crevier,
Legend.
I haven't talked to Pascal Picotte in a long time. I haven't seen Miguel. When we did the induction into the Daytona International Motorsports Hall of Fame with Fred, I think it was back in 06. Is that long? I got to look. If that's that long, man, time went fast. But got to see a lot of guys there. You know, that's where you're going to see them.
Yeah.
Ricky Carmichael was there. I remember I'm sitting there with Bobby and Donnie Allison at the breakfast table, and I'm looking at Ricky, and he's glancing over at me. And when we got done, I go, "Do you remember me?" He goes, "Yeah, I remember you, man, Honda, right?" Because we won. He won the 250 indoor, 250 outdoor. They won the 125, and then Nicky won the Superbike. So that was in 02. It was a great year for Honda. You know, so we cleaned up there. Honda gave everybody a trophy that said all of those on there.
Love it.
Which is pretty cool. They sent it to me, but yeah.
Fred, dude, you know, Fred Merkel, man, what was he like? I was always a huge fan of Fred's.
We partied.
He was probably one of the best partiers out there, wasn't he?
Jeez, he partied. I was at Newport Beach. He was in Balboa Beach, which is just down the street. It's probably a mile. He was a Balboa boy. He had a home right on the water, right on the ocean, right at Balboa Pier, first house. And yeah, we partied a lot back then. They all did. Back in the 80s. Man, I used to pick him up from the airport, and we almost hit the center wall one time because we were singing out loud to one of Sting's songs, and we were just partying. I locked my keys in the car, so I had to break the window to get in so we could get the hell out of there so we wouldn't get caught being so hammered.
I love it, man. I love it, dude. Yeah, I would love to sit down with Fred Merkel one day.
He's into bow and arrow like Greg White.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's into sharpshooting arrows, and he's a big hiker. He builds. He's a welder. Like he has Merkel Engineering, and he builds steel buildings.
Love it.
Yeah, he's not far from here, but he gets me all my tickets for Laguna. I need tickets, and he gets them for me.
Love it.
Through Chuck Esklin. Chucky?
Yep. Chuck Asklin.
Asklin.
Yep. Let's go. I love it, man.
But yeah, it's I get to see those guys. I see Wayne. I met Wayne over in Europe at Catalunya when he was injured. I was in Misano when he crashed.
Was you really?
In turn one, they changed that whole racetrack. It goes the other way now.
Yeah, it goes the opposite way. Yeah.
But yeah, you know, back then, the sand pits were the runoffs were they made mounds in them, and that was for cars, so it would grab the car. Well, that's how they had them, and it should have been smooth. You see, now they're all smooth, but that's what probably broke his back was he hit one of those.
Yeah.
It wasn't smooth, you know, and you know, track homologation for safeties way up now. With air fencing, when that one guy, I forget his name, broke his back in Sears Point.
Vincent Haskovic.
Vincent Haskovic.
Yep.
And then Ulrich started
Road racing, yeah, the air fence. Yep.
the air fence, and all the mechanics, everybody that was involved chipped in money to get air fences around there.
Yeah.
And that traveled with us. Look at Josh Heron's bike this year at Laguna. Did you see when he went down?
Dude, bro,
that was so quick. I don't know what happened because when he got up, he looked back at the track, but I think he might have hit a tear off.
yeah,
It just snapped him to the ground.
it happened really quick too.
Yeah. His bike
All of a
went
sudden
all
just-
the way to the fence, past
Yes.
the air fence, into the fence, on top of the tires.
Yep.
You know,
That's
when we
crazy.
saw that with the bike at the crash truck, they had it hung upside down like a deer on a crane, and they have it covered. It was junk. That bike was junk. I'm so glad I have to fix that shit. It's the only
Right.
thing I miss. I don't miss is fixing shit.
Right. What do you think about Heron going back on a 600 next year?
I think it'll be really good.
Yeah.
You know, he's a good rider. He's just got to calm down a little bit. I mean, you see him on the track and he's shaking his head and he's pissed off underneath that bike. He wants to win, but they should put some radio controls in that helmet and talk to him, slow him down a little bit, man. Just take it easy, man.
I love it, dude. I remember at Mid Ohio this year, I think an engine it had exploded and they didn't clean all the oil up, and every lap he'd come by, he'd be like throwing his hand up, like, what are we doing? You know, I was awesome. I was like, dude, everybody's doing it. Just go, you know? Yeah. It's I always liked Heron. A lot of people don't like him. I like him because he's different. He's unique. He speaks his mind and he don't put up no bullshit.
I'd like to build for him. There's a lot of guys I'd like. Josh Hayes, I would love to have built for.
He's a legend.
You know, Jake Zemke.
Yep. Jake's another legend.
Jake is he rode my bike once and won on it. There's just so many guys that I would love to have built for, and we would have been successful because I had a really, really good career. I mean, winning over 105 races in my career is pretty damn good.
Dude, Danny, you are an absolute legend of the sport.
I don't
That's what
know.
you are, my friend. Yes, you are, man.
I
Listen,
never lifted, Chris. I never lifted.
you don't have to, man. It's you know, you hear me talk about it, you know, the important puzzle pieces. Without those, you know, X, Y, and Z would have never happened. Well, you, my friend, has been a major important puzzle piece through many people's careers and lives that you've been a part of, and help shape who they are even to this day because of who you are and what you brought to the game in the table.
And the field that you're up against, look at the field back then, who we were racing against. I mean, these guys we raced the world. You know, I was the only American over there and Fred was the only American. So only American rider, only American mechanic. And then Merlin Plumley came. Greg Wood came later, but there wasn't, I don't think Colin brought anybody. Colin had Adrian Gorst, Max from Loctite Yamaha was Terry Reimer and McElnay's mechanic back then. And what they did to him was just an awful shame with the car.
Dude, I'll never forget that. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, dude. That is too good, man. I love it.
Anybody wants to see that, watch the first podcast. That's pretty good. That's real stuff right there, man.
Dude, I love it, man. I love it. Well, listen, Danny, dude, this has been, I only said an hour and 30 minutes into this. I couldn't help myself. I really enjoy our time together, man. And listen, me and you going to sit down many, many more times this Saturday. I will give you a call. We talked about that, but I can't even talk right now before we went live. So I will call you Saturday and we'll set everything else up, man. Listen, I still got so much I want to talk about. Sometimes I feel like when I sit down with you, I got so many things going through my head. I just gotta slow
You're
it down.
you're giving us an opportunity that nobody else has ever wanted to see,
Dude,
and you can ask anybody that was in my era as a mechanic, and they'll have the same stuff. They all have great stories from different perspectives of the English riders to
yeah,
the Australian riders I mean, we had riders that were 19 deep that could win. And the other thing, everybody was successful. I think that the group that we race with that World Superbike, because if you were finishing 15th and you finished 10th, you succeeded. Everybody was getting better, and every Robbie Phillips would win, Slight would win. I mean, it wasn't today's your day that you're going to win this, this, and this, and this. Poland was a different story, but he just had his shit figured out. But that was one year. But everybody was successful, even the mechanics. I really believe that. It wasn't that you're always losing, losing, losing. You're trying to get better, better, and better, and they kept improving themselves. So to me, that's a winning theory. Championship can't beat that. The thirst for it, the hunger, and the passion. When I wanted to win a race because I saw what it was. And then when I won a race, I wanted to win a championship. And I wasn't greedy. I got hungry. And I wanted to win and got them, I wanted it so bad. I sacrificed everything. I never had kids. And the only reason that I got out, one of the reasons I was done in 2004 with that champion, I left. I wanted to leave a champion, but I met my wife. And it's like, that's what I talked to Chuck. I told you, I have nothing left. I mean, there's no, what else do you want me to win? I don't need any more. Let somebody else have a chance. And I wanted to start a life, I wanted to be because the Japanese wouldn't allow us to travel with females.
yeah.
Because they're a distraction. Of course they are.
That's what we all want. What are you talking about? We gotta have them.
I got to get this shit done because I got to get over there.
Right.
But they felt it was a distraction, and the only person that could have a female was a rider. So, we just catch all their overflow.
Right. That's okay. We clean up shop. We got this.
One at a time, ladies.
That's it. One at a time. And I need a 20-minute break in between each session. I'll catch you soon. I love it, man. Oh my God. Yeah.
That's a big reason I never had any kids is because I went after my passion, and
but that speaks volumes of
I sacrificed a lot. I wish I had kids, but it's too late.
Yeah, but it speaks volumes of the passion and love you have for this sport and the sacrifices you made to be where you are, right? And the journeys you've had. It's incredible.
I'd do it all over again.
In a heartbeat.
I wouldn't change a thing. I really wouldn't. I mean,
I love it.
I wouldn't change a thing.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, listen, man, I got to get off here because I got to get ready to go to this party here and not too long in the future. But yeah, listen, it is the end of 2025. It's been an absolute honor to sit down with Danny. But before I end this, as always, I just got to say, these past 2 years since I've been doing this by myself, man, I just want to take this moment right now just to tell everybody from the bottom of my heart, deeply, thank you so much, because if it wasn't for each and every single one of you guys and girls that come on here, I would not be in this position where I am. So it's nothing but love to each and every single one of you. And I truly mean that. I say it all the time. And I find myself, I struggle with this because it means so much to me, and the love that I feel from everybody. It's just been truly amazing. So I just want to say thank you to each and every single one of you.
I was so excited when you asked me. I couldn't even tell you how excited I was. Dude, it was like, really? You want to talk to me? Wow. Let me get some notes. Because I got a lot to say, but nobody ever asked. It was always just this group that moved everywhere. That's all we did, But there's some really cool stories out there.
Yes, there is.
Can you imagine all the teams and what they all have? Can you imagine the parties of the Marquezes? Oh my God.
Bro. Yeah. Yeah. That would
Oh
be
my God.
awesome to hear some of those stories for sure.
You know, those
Oh,
guys, they got lots of money.
dude, they do. It's insane. But yeah, listen, again, thank you guys and girls so much. If it wasn't for you, again, I wouldn't be here. You have made my past 3 years doing this some of the best of my life ever. And again,
I
thank
hope
you.
they've been good.
Dude, it has been, man. You know, the list is so long. If I sat here and gave everybody a shout out, dude, I'd be on here for probably another 2 hours and I would be in trouble. So listen, just real quick rundown. You know who you are. First and foremost, man, if it wasn't for Andy Rowe and Northeast Jules that originally started this podcast, without them inviting me on as a guest, I would not be here. Period. Simple, right? And that's a fact. So big shout out to them. Man, big shout out to Bison. Thank you for all your love and support over the past couple years. Chef Eats, TST Industries, one of my main sponsors in the UK, the clothingkings.co.uk. Martin, mate, I love you. I mean that. Big shout out to Michael Carrera at SFL Mini GP and Jersey. Man, you guys are absolutely amazing. Again, thank you and everybody down there for all the love and support. Curtis, Isaac, man, Levy Batty, everybody. Big shout out to RD Racing out there in the UK. Again, mate, thank you so much for y'all love and support, man. You guys run my logo on your race bikes, on your leathers. It's something that I could have never even have dreamed of in my entire life.
Yeah,
So,
that's awesome.
dude, it's listen, to see my logos on people's bikes around the world's just been
It's huge.
dude. I don't want to cry right now, but it's
You
it
do a
means
great
so much to
interview.
me.
You know,
Yeah,
the
dude,
interview you
thank
do, you guys do a great job.
I appreciate it.
It's easy, and you do your homework.
Thank you.
You know, and I do my homework. It's like I got to have stuff that I can talk about and I keep all my notes so that we don't go over things. But I'll write down more.
Yeah, dude, I love it, and I can't wait till next time. Listen, real quick again, 64 Degree Racing, Tate, man, I love you. Thank you so much for all the love and support, dude. He sends me custom undersuits, and it's again, Tate, dude, I love you so much. A big shout out to Venom Aliki for sending me my shirts. Again, it's Ryder Davis and Casey Davis, man. Thank you guys so much. You guys are absolutely amazing. I mean, again, the list goes on. Just thank you so much to everybody. It's you guys made these past 3 years. I'm looking forward to 2026, sitting down and having many, many more podcasts and seeing each and every single one of you at the track next year. Again, Danny, thank you so much for coming on here. You know, when I found you on Facebook and I reached out to you, you know, my main goal was to get down, have you on my podcast, and always 100% of the time, man, it's more of an honor to be your friend in this short lifetime than any of this other stuff, right? And I really mean that. So thank you so much for coming on here. Looking forward to the future with me and you and all the stories we're going to get in together. And I'm going to go on and say it. Yeah, I'm having my man Danny on here. He's going to be a co-host with me next year too. So you guys stay tuned because he's going to be on the podcast many times.
Yes, I am.
And it's going to be absolutely amazing. But listen, it is New Year's Eve. 2026 is right around the corner. If anybody in my town plans on going out and drinking, please be safe. Get you a DD, call you an Uber. I'm not going to be drinking. Give me a call. I'll come pick your ass up. Make sure you get home safe. Again, I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and nothing but love to each and every single one of you, man. It's absolutely amazing. And again, thank you so much. I love each and every single one of you.
Yeah, man.
I just don't know what else to say, Danny. It's
Happy New Year, man.
Yeah, Happy New Year,
is
man.
going to be good.
It absolutely it is. And on that
I got
note,
a feeling.
It's absolutely it is. Danny, is there anything you want to say before we end this podcast?
I just want to shout out to my wife, Jerry Macbeth. You know, she's awesome. She keeps me straight and always worries about what I'm doing, what I'm eating, am I eating right? She doesn't want to get ripped off. So she keeps me alive. We walk a lot. I'd like to say hi to my buddy Eric Bostrom and Benny. I don't know if they watch this stuff, but I miss those guys. I saw them at Laguna a couple of years ago when they were racing the Hooligans. And Jake Zemke's my neighbor. He lives probably a mile and a half from me. I do get to see him at the racetrack, but he's pretty cool. Vittoriano Goreski, my old rider from Yamaha back in '98, and Mayo Marigali, who was Jorge Lorenzo's race manager at Yamaha when they won. I think it was Jorge Lorenzo when he won the championship. Mayo was my old rider. So those guys are in Italy. I'm going to go run into those guys when I get to Milan and go say hi to them. And yeah, that's all I got, man.
Love it, man. I love it.
I had to put a plug in for my wife.
No, yeah, dude. Listen, and big shit out to your wife, right? And thank you for allowing my man Danny and me to sit down and have this time together, because I really enjoy this, man. This is
I took her to VIR.
Did you really?
Yeah. So we left Anaheim. We went in the Arian Racing truck. I drove it all the way. She loved it. So it was Honda. I'm sorry, Graves. So she gets on the pit bike, and Yamaha has all those leather dryers and helmet dryers and all that shit, right? All the leathers are all blowing like this. She takes off on this pit bike and takes them all out, cleans them out. And Halverson looks at me, and I'm like, she took them all out.
Oh my God. Tom's another legend, right? He was crew chief with Ben Spies. Actually went over to World Superbike with him when they won the title.
What a career he had.
Dude, yes. Actually, I'm friends with his wife, Susie.
He's retired now.
Yep, he is. Dude, the stories I'm sure he could tell too, as well, as for sure.
I just talked to Rick Hobbs the other day, and he's going to do one more year, and I think he's going to be done.
Your photo's falling off your door.
What, Bubba?
Your photo's falling off your door.
I know. I'm gonna fix it. I'm almost done, and then we'll get ready. Okay.
I don't want to go.
Well, you don't have to go. You can stay home and play your video games.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna take a guess.
Take a guess.
What day is it?
It's the 31st.
Like what day? Not.
It's Wednesday.
So you get paid on Friday.
No, next Friday.
Next.
Yes.
I thought you get paid on Wednesday.
I do, but I gotta have it
change
for
that
bills.
again?
Yeah.
I'll send you a check.
Yeah, dude. There you go.
They keep changing your pay from Wednesday to Friday to Wednesday to Friday.
Dude, it's goofy, right?
Yes.
Okay. My son, he's always hitting me up for money, of course, right? I'm the revolving bank for sure. Dude, what size t-shirt do you wear, Danny?
Probably XL.
All right. I'll because I got
185 pounds. I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not very big.
Jealous?
I'm like 197, 6 foot. I used to be 270 pounds, bro, in a 40-inch waist. Now I'm at 34 with a belt. Step on the scale, I'm like 197. So
When I was inside, I weighed 238 in prison.
I know you just heard Mom.
I heard I had to be big to
Did you
have some
hear Mom?
push.
He just yelled, nobody cares.
my wife, she in there talking shit.
Literally just yelled, nobody cares.
Dude, it's funny, dude, because my wife she'll be like, okay, I know you got a podcast, but you literally got like an hour and 5 minutes, right? And when it gets close to that time, she knows me. I always like to go over. She'll literally open up the door. She'll say, wrap that shit up, dude. We got to go. I'm like, all right, I got to go, guys. I'll see you later.
You go, man. Be safe.
I love it. Listen, Danny, nothing but love. I appreciate you. I will talk to you this Saturday.
Call
This
me.
episode will be out. Well, I don't know if it's going to be out tonight. Usually I release it tonight, but I got to go to this party to go to, but it'll be out tomorrow for sure. I will call you Saturday, my friend. On
Yes.
that note, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. Let's go. Don't forget, like and subscribe, pin the gas, baby. Let's
Yes.
get it.
All right,
All right,
man.
Danny.
Love you, man.
Love you too, bro. Talk to you
Take care.
Saturday. You too, bro.
All right.
See ya.
Ciao.
Calling all two-wheel enthusiasts, get ready to rev up your earbuds with Pin the Gas Podcast, the ultimate motorcycle racing podcast, hosted by Chris Simcoe, one of our very own excellent leaders here in Roanoke, Virginia. With expert analysis, behind-the-scenes stories, and exclusive writer interviews, Pin the Gas Podcast delivers the adrenaline rush of the racetrack straight to your ears. Whether you're a diehard fan or a curious newcomer, you'll gain insights that will transform how you watch and understand motorcycle racing. On your favorite podcast app, join Simcoe as he takes you on a high-speed journey through the world of motorcycle racing. Pin the Gas Podcast.